On the morning of December 11, 2023, a man visited his brother's apartment complex in Las Vegas to check on him. Instead, he discovered a horrific scene: 5 bodies covered in blood from multiple gunshot wounds. The Las Vegas Metropolitan Police were soon called to the 7500 block of Oso Blanco Road near Durango Drive and confirmed the victims as family members. The mother, Shinara Patterson, 34, and her 3 children ages 6 to 14, were found alongside Marvin Patterson, the father. This tragedy, caused by one man's selfish decision, claimed an entire family in one night. This case reminds us to reflect on our instincts, the people we let into our lives, and how well we truly know them. Before getting into the details, we extend our deepest condolences to the family and friends of Shinara Patterson. Let this heartbreaking crime serve as a reminder for everyone to be cautious about whom they trust. Born on December 10, 1989 in Long Beach, California, Shinara Patterson, also known as Narang to her friends and family, she was a 34-year-old woman living in Las Vegas, Nevada. She was a wife and mother to 3 children: 14-year-old Kezia Cohn, born on October 6, 2009, 6-year-old Zemira Patterson, born on September 12, 2017, and 11-year-old Derek Jr., known as DJ, born on December 6, 2012. Kezia was called Zia, and Zemira was affectionately nicknamed Duty by family and friends. Her husband, Marvin Patterson, was her second partner and the father of 2 of her children. Despite this, the family appeared complete from the outside. They were often seen as a loving couple, living a humble and happy life, frequently making videos together. From all appearances, they had the perfect blended family. However, in a shocking turn of events, this image was far from reality. Shinara and Marvin Ray Patterson fell in love and were married in Las Vegas in May 2019, even creating a wedding website for guests to make reservations in the Our Love Story section of the site. Shinara thanked God for blessing her with a partner who appreciated and loved her, never belittling her. She expressed that she would never take Marvin for granted. At this point, Shinara was deeply in love with Marvin, which is why they opted for a grand wedding, something that would showcase their love and commitment to one another. Her father walked her down the aisle as she wore a stunning gown, making the day even more memorable and a true reflection of their bond. Unfortunately, her father passed away shortly after the wedding, leaving her mother as her only remaining parent. It was no surprise that Shinara began seeking comfort and strength from her loving husband, to whom her father had entrusted her, as seen in the wedding video. Although Shinara already had 2 children before meeting Marvin, they seemed to share a common understanding of family dynamics. Marvin had previously been married with 2 children as well, having divorced in April 2019, just a month before marrying Shinara. Despite limited details about that marriage, Marvin embraced his role as a father figure to Shinara's children. After some time, they welcomed a baby of their own, becoming a family of 5. Although Las Vegas is widely known for its gambling, shopping, fine dining, entertainment, and nightlife, Shinara earned her income differently. She was a skilled cosmetologist with exceptional expertise in hair care, particularly braiding. She also installed wigs for her clients, who were predominantly women of color. Shinara was considered a successful entrepreneur and a very stylish young woman. From her makeup to her outfits, especially her hairstyles, she always ensured she looked great. Her children also reflected her style, always looking well-dressed, whether at home or school, inheriting her sweet and charismatic qualities. She was described by family and friends as sweet, kind, and selfless to everyone. Her daughter Kezia was funny and loved to draw, while Zemira Patterson was generally a sweet little girl. From all indications, it seemed Marvin was the best man for Shinara, as he was not only loving but also good to her stepchildren. There were no records of misconduct to suggest he was untrustworthy. This family, like many others, seemed perfect from the outside, but beneath the surface, a disturbing dark side would soon be revealed. By the way, we post true crime stories and strange cases weekly. If this interests you, please consider subscribing to our channel. Your support means a lot and helps me continue sharing this content. The darkest side of Marvin Patterson began to surface in October 2022 when he was first arrested. The charges against him, as documented by the Clark County District Court, were serious crimes that involved 9 felony CS tied to offenses against children. These allegations included 5 counts of lewd sex with a child under the age of 14, 2 counts of assault on a minor under 16, 1 count of lewd conduct with a child under 16, and 1 count of first-degree kidnapping of a minor. The case was very popular due to the gravity of the accusations and the age of the victims. The alleged incidents took place between 2013 and 2022. This situation was particularly shocking, especially considering that Marvin had a 14-year-old stepdaughter living under the same roof. The individuals Marvin allegedly assaulted were girls who had previously resided in the apartment he shared with Shinara and the kids. Naturally, his appalling behavior eventually led to his arrest and imprisonment. Marvin's bail was initially set at $100,000 by a substitute judge, with strict conditions such as surrendering his passport, undergoing electronic monitoring, and avoiding contact with minors under the age of 18. These measures were put in place to ensure his appearance in court and the safety of the community, but he did not comply. Brett Whipple, Marvin's attorney, requested a lower bail for his client on December 15, 2022. The motion argued that the initial $100,000 bail was unaffordable for Patterson. We would greatly appreciate a modest bail and release conditions. The defendant claimed that Marvin was not a flight risk because he had submitted his passport. However, it was never confirmed whether he committed these crimes due to his lateness when court documents were reviewed. Marvin's legal team argued that there was little evidence from the state and that the charges of kidnapping against Patterson had little supporting evidence. Several witnesses also testified. At the December 15 hearing, Marvin Patterson's legal team, led by his attorney Brett Whipple, sought to reduce his high $100,000 bail, arguing that it was financially impossible for Marvin to afford. The court carefully considered this, knowing Marvin had no prior record of fleeing or missing court dates. Despite the severity of the charges, the judge agreed to lower the bail to $10,000, though strict conditions remained. Marvin had to surrender his passport, submit to electronic monitoring, and maintain no contact with minors, including his stepdaughter. Upon paying the reduced bail, Marvin was placed under house arrest, but this arrangement required him to live separately from his family due to the presence of his 14-year-old stepdaughter. No one, including his wife Shinara or his brother, suspected the gravity of the internal turmoil Marvin was experiencing. To everyone around him, Marvin appeared to be a man wrongfully accused, consistently proclaiming his innocence. Only months after his release, the unthinkable happened. Marvin, unable to reconcile the situation and unable to manage family expenses. Considering that the average cost of a rented apartment in Las Vegas in 2023 was around $1,114 per month in more affordable areas, and as high as $1,472 in others, Shinara faced significant financial strain. In November, after being evicted from her temporary home, she moved back in with Marvin along with their children. Despite Marvin being under restrictions prohibiting contact with minors, Shinara, believing in his innocence, trusted he would never harm them. Then, on December 11, 2023, just a day after Shinara's 34th birthday, Marvin's brother, Jason, made a frantic call to the police.
The following audio may be hard to hear.
They're all gone. I need the police. I don't know who it is to come.
You need police or medical?
I need medical. I hear one of the kids, they're breathing. They're trying to breathe.
Marvin Patterson's brother, frantic, around 10 a.m. December 11th. He says Marvin texted him, overwhelmed. Then he kicked down the apartment door to see the tragedy within.
I saw my nieces, his nephews. I think they're gone. And then he was in the bed with his wife, and they're deceased as well.
He called to report seeing bloodied bodies at Marvin's apartment the night before the incident. Marvin informed his brother that he was facing eviction and auto repossession. When Jason checked on his brother the next day, he was confronted with a traumatic picture. Shinara Zia duty DJ and himself had all been shot by Marvin, who turned the gun on himself last. However, even with the Panicking, he realized only DJ was breathing faintly, so he immediately called 911 requesting an ambulance and medical aid to save DJ. Sadly, Shannara and her daughters were pronounced dead immediately. However, DJ was able to survive after being taken to UMC University Medical Center.
To sit down and we need to have a conversation. We need to talk with Metro. We need to talk with the individuals that are working in the judicial system. We need to hold this judge accountable and understand why she did what she did and how do we make sure that that
This experience has left emotionally and intellectually scarred, in addition to causing his bodily impairments. People are left wondering why Marvin wasn't kept in jail, what could have possibly prompted his murderous nature. And did anyone know the kind of man Marvin was prior to this incident? Marvin may have been exhibiting signs of depression and frustration with the way his life was going. This case leaves many unanswered questions and emotional trauma, which could be the reason he eventually vented his frustrations on his family and himself. Several close friends and family members of Shannara voiced their opinions in the heat of the moment, arguing that he should never have been released from jail and that he should have stayed there for the safety of the entire community as well as the family. Several activists also criticized the judge for lowering his bail to $10,000, claiming that he would still be in custody if the bail had been $100,000. The reality is that numerous individuals stepped forward to speak on Marvin's behalf, trying to persuade the judge of his good character. Jasmine Lee, founder of a charity supporting families of murdered people of color, was appalled when she learned of Marvin's charges. She described his release as a blatant insult to the victims, calling for greater accountability from the court. She questioned why he was set free despite serious child abuse allegations against him. Marvin's assault case was set to go to trial in April 2022, but in December 2023 he chose to end the lives of his wife, children, and himself in a horrific act. He spared no one, not even his biological daughter, believing his entire family should die with him. The funeral for Shannara Patterson and her two daughters was a deeply emotional occasion that united a grieving community in Las Vegas. Their tragic deaths left many stunned and in mourning, and the funeral offered a chance for loved ones to honor their memory and say their final farewells. The event was a blend of overwhelming grief and contemplation, with heartfelt tributes from those closest to them pouring in throughout the ceremony. The service took place in a chapel in Las Vegas, where family members, friends, and members of the community came together to grieve. The atmosphere was thick with sorrow as everyone present reflected on the lives of Shannara and her daughters. The overwhelming sense of loss was felt deeply by all in attendance. As loved ones shared their memories, many spoke about Shannara's warmth and generosity. Her kindness was a recurring theme, with those closest to her recalling how she had touched the lives of others with her compassion. At Shannara's funeral, her mother, Jamesetta Bernoudy, delivered a poignant and tearful eulogy that resonated with all in attendance.
But God had other plans. I wish I can see those pretty smiles or just hold on to your hands. I had died for 14 years, just as goofy as can be, and duty just for 6, my little sweet, sweet twin babies. Just know that I adored you both, but heaven needed your pretty soul. So get your wings and fly away. I'll meet you at the heaven gate. A piece of my heart left with my dad. This one crushed my soul. Never in a million years I thought it hit so close to home. I gained 3 angels in one night. I feel empty, I feel numb, I feel alone. Just promise you'll stay with me and guide me through this storm. I love you all so dearly, and I'll keep your names alive. I love you, my 3 favorite people. Won't live nearer, duty and
She expressed profound disbelief over the tragic loss of her daughter, reflecting on the loving spirit that Shannara embodied throughout her life. Jamesetta spoke tenderly about the bright futures of her grandchildren. The overwhelming grief was compounded by the belief that none of this heartache would have occurred if Marvin had remained incarcerated. Her heartfelt words underscored the devastating impact of Marvin's actions and the fragility of life, leaving attendees with a profound sense of loss and a call for reflection on the circumstances that led to such a tragic outcome. To assist with funeral expenses, Isaiah Robinson, a food truck owner who knew the family, organized a fundraiser. He expressed his desire to ensure the children received a proper farewell. Jamesetta Bernoudy, along with other family members, conveyed their profound gratitude for the overwhelming support they received. In a public statement, she mentioned how touched they were by the kindness and generosity shown by everyone who reached out to help during this difficult time. In the wake of the tragedy, a GoFundMe campaign was initiated by Derek Cox, a relative, to assist with funeral costs as well as DJ's medical care and ongoing therapy. Out of a goal of $100,000, only $5,199 had been raised at the time I recorded this story. I will include a link to this page in the description section below. In the wake of the devastating loss of Shanara Patterson and her daughters, the family experiences a profound sense of grief, made slightly bearable by the community's heartfelt support. This support manifested during the funeral, where friends, neighbors, and extended family came together to express their condolences and share in the sorrow, reminding the family that they are not alone in their pain. As they navigate through this dark period, the family's primary concern shifts toward the recovery of Derek, who faces significant emotional challenges following the tragedy. The road to healing for the family is fraught with difficulty, as they confront not only their grief but also the betrayal of trust, given that the perpetrator was someone they had deeply relied upon. This particular aspect of their story resonates with many, underscoring the complexities of loss intertwined with the shock of betrayal, emphasizing that healing takes time and support from loved ones and the community. While the funeral may have provided a moment of closure, it also marked the beginning of a long and arduous healing process for the surviving family members. The tragic case of Marvin Patterson reveals a shocking and deeply disturbing narrative, showcasing the depths of human depravity and the unexpected resilience of the human spirit. Throughout this harrowing ordeal, Marvin's malevolence is starkly evident, but against all odds, Derek survived, emerging as a powerful symbol of strength in the face of unimaginable adversity. His survival raises critical questions about the circumstances leading to this tragedy. Could Marvin's actions have been prevented if his bail had remained at $100,000? This high amount would have kept him incarcerated longer, possibly preventing the violent incident that shattered his family. One must ponder the societal and psychological factors that could have driven Marvin to such heinous behavior. Was it desperation, untreated mental health issues, or the weight of his circumstances that culminated in this atrocity? The community's response to the tragedy highlights a collective grief and the importance of support systems during times of crisis. As the family grapples with their loss, the contrast between Marvin's cruelty and Derek's survival serves as a poignant reminder of the resilience inherent in the human spirit. This case not only illustrates the potential for darkness within individuals but also emphasizes the necessity for vigilance, understanding, and proactive measures within our communities to prevent such tragedies in the future. We encourage viewers to reflect on these questions and share their thoughts in the comments. Your insights are valuable as we navigate the complexities of such tragic events. Thank you for watching, and if you found this story compelling or enlightening, please consider liking the video and subscribing to our channel to support our efforts in bringing engaging content to our audience.